Hey everybody, this is Modern Refugee. This is going to be a little bit different video than what I normally do for you guys, but I want to document my medical emergency that I've had over the last couple of months here and the surgery that they used to correct it, and share this story that hopefully it can help somebody out if they ever have to go through what I went through. Now, the surgery that I had um, was a sigmoid colonectomy. They had to take a portion of my sigmoid colon out to fix what was wrong with me. Now, this all started back in November. This is the end of January now, so this has been going on at least 2 months for me. And started out with abdominal pain, didn't feel good, went to the ER. They gave me some antibiotics, said, "Here, take these antibiotics. You'll be all right. Go home." And 5 days later, went and seen my regular doctor. They changed my medication, and they said basically go home, take a little time off, you'll be all right. That night, I basically crashed. All my symptoms came back. I had severe abdominal pain, and I went into back into the ER, and they said now you have an abscess. But it really wasn't an abscess. But that's the difference between different radiologists, how they read what they see, what they seen. And what they did is they said, you got to go someplace where there's a surgical team. You can't stay here. They loaded me on an ambulance. It was the most uncomfortable ride I ever had in my life. They strapped me onto a stretcher and drove me 3 hours down to a big city hospital where they had a 24-hour surgical team. But when I got down there, their radiologist looked at what I seen. They said, "No, you don't have an abscess from your diverticulitis. You actually have a perforation." And what happened was, is it allowed air into your abdomen, but then it sealed itself back up. And you have an infection in your bowel. You have that air in your abdomen, and we don't know where the hole is. Now, a lot of people that have diverticulitis, they'll kind of know when they're having attacks and stuff going on. I've never had a diverticulitis attack in my life. In fact, I've had regular colonoscopies. I've had all the, I guess, preventative checks and stuff, and I've had nothing. I had no warning of this whatsoever. In fact, I actually dug out my colonoscopy from 5 years ago, and it said everything looks great. Your colon looks great. It's healthy. Don't see any problems whatsoever. Come back in 10 years. That was 5 years ago. So that's how much things have changed in 5 years for whatever reason. But because I had that air in my abdomen and I had that infection, I stayed in the hospital for 6 days over Thanksgiving, and I was pumped full of IV antibiotics the whole time. And I was very sick for a couple of the days that I was in there. So 6 days after 6 days in the hospital on IV antibiotics, they sent me home. And over December, there for the first couple of weeks in December, I started to feel better, started to improve. But then slowly, as it went toward Christmas, things started to deteriorate, and my symptoms started coming back. And of course, they came back right when that storm hit, a couple days before Christmas. Well, absolutely nothing moved around here in between Christmas, so I basically sucked it up until I got it back into the surgeon's office on the 27th of December. So I went through probably 4 or 5 days where I was sicker than hell at home. Now, the entire time I was on oral antibiotics. So I was on oral antibiotics before I was in the hospital. I was on IV antibiotics in the hospital. And then I was on oral antibiotics for another 10 days or another 20 days, two 10-day courses after I was out. And so, I mean, I was on antibiotics more or less the entire month of December. And when I went back on the 27th of December to the surgeon, he said, "I want you to go across the street and I want you to get a good IV or a good CAT scan with all the good radioactive IV stuff that they put into you and the radioactive stuff you drink, because I want a good picture of what's going on inside you." And went across the street to his radiologist, got the CAT scan. They told me, "You need to stay in here and wait," which I did. And about an hour after they gave me the CAT scan, the radiologist called me and he said, "You got multiple problems going on. You have your diverticulitis, you have two thin spots in your sigmoid colon, and in between those two thin spots, you have a stricture, you have a constriction. So you've got a 100% chance that either those thin spots are going to blow out or you're going to get a bowel obstruction in that stricture. You need to go back over and talk to your surgeon right now, or as soon as you leave here. And that's what I did. We went back over, got the disc, and got the paperwork. Went back over to the surgeon, and he came in and he showed me, drew me a diagram of basically what was going on, and he said this section needs to come out, otherwise you're going to have problems. But we can't do surgery on you right now because you have so much inflammation in that bowel. We can't put things back together. And if we can't put things back together, we'll have to give you a stoma and an ostomy until you heal up enough where we can hook everything back up. And the other surgeon that was in there, they kind of discussed it in front of me. They kind of discussed it, and they said, you know what, we're going to give you see if we can't get you a 10-day course of a really powerful antibiotic to see if we can't bring that inflammation down enough where we can get you hooked back up when we do have to do the surgery on you. So they actually set it up with my local hospital and my local doctor in my area for 10 days worth of antibiotics. And that's what I got. I got a bag of antibiotics over at my local hospital every day for 10 days. And then when that course was done, I went back and seen the surgeon, and then they said, we have to get you in for surgery. And that surgery was about 7 days ago at the time I'm recording this. And because they didn't want to have to do an emergency surgery on me, because what I had, what the particular type of diverticulitis that I have, they called it a smoldering case or a festering case. No matter how much antibiotics they would give me, that's not going to heal. It might get knocked down for a while, but then it's going to come back. It's not going to heal until that comes out. I guess the example I was given, it's kind of like a sliver. You got a sliver in, you're going to have an infection there until that sliver comes out. And that's more or less how it was explained to me. But because I was able to tough it out, and for the surgery, I was able to take the 10 days worth of antibiotics. I was able to do a proper prep for the surgery that I had. I had a bowel prep. I had to take certain medications a couple of days out from the surgery to make sure, basically to reduce the chance of infection after the fact. And if it would have been an emergency surgery, if I would have had a obstruction, or if I would have had a blowout or another perforation, that would have increased the risk of my infection tremendously, in which all those things are life threatening. And but because I had those another course of antibiotics, and I had a time to do a decent prep, it lowered my chances of infection, and it increased the chances of a successful surgery. And went in for the surgery. They gave me the surgery. The day of the surgery, I was pretty much out of it because of the anesthesia and the pain meds that they were giving me. But I had a lot of pain the second and third day because nothing was kind of working yet. When your bowels get when you have surgery done in your bowels, they kind of shut down and they kind of go into shock, and it takes a while for them to hook back up. But I was still, producing gas, and your body still puts things into your digestive tract. So I still had a lot of pain those first couple of days until things started to heal, started to go down. But healing for me wasn't like it is for most people that go in for that type of surgery, because I was on a liquid diet for more or less 2 months. So I had lost 35 pounds, and I did not have as much nutrition in me as I should have, I guess, before the surgery. But there was no other way around it, because I couldn't eat solid food because of everything that was going on. So after that second and third day, after the pain started to subside, they just pumped me full of nutrition. I had every type of protein drink and protein shake and vitamin water, and they told me, man, you need to eat ice cream with protein powder in it. You need to eat ice cream 5 times a day, every time, because you need calories. You don't have, enough calories in you to start healing. Well, when I started to be able to eat a little bit, I started healing quicker, and that's because of those calories and because of the nutrition I started getting into me. So at this point, like I said, I'm 7 days out here, and my incisions my surgery was done laparoscopically. They put 2 incisions on my right side, one on my left, and they basically did maybe about a 5-inch one around my belly button. They cut straight down around my belly button and down so that they could get access to take that particular part of the sigmoid colon out. And because the inflammation went down, they were able to hook me back up. And now I'm in a state of limbo. I can't lift nothing. I'm in the healing stage. I've got several appointments to go back and see the surgeon, follow-up appointments, but I don't anticipate working for probably another 6 to 8 weeks yet, because I absolutely cannot lift anything because of the chance of a hernia. So that was basically the last 2 months in a nutshell of what I had. And like I said, I wanted to make this video in case anybody out there has to have have the procedure that I had done, kind of share my experience. This is kind of, everybody's experience is going to be different because everybody's body's different on how they heal and how they react to pain and the different procedures. But I thought maybe somebody could get something out of this experience here. So I wanted to do a video on it. Anyway, this is Modern Refugee. I appreciate all my subscribers out there. Hope you guys get a little information and a little entertainment out of this video here, just sharing my real world medical emergency with you guys to help people out. Anyway, you guys take care.